Namaskara, friends. So it's been a very long time. Uh, I was actually held up with a lot of work at my office end, so I hardly had time to spend anything on this. In addition to this, I also had to recollect a few of my astrology books and other things because I have to keep continuously updating on that. So I was held up in many things, so I could not do a short video on that. So before I start, I'll just do a prayer to my Guru. Tapo Vidyavratyad Sugno Karanaham Vadra Jagurun Vande Shriyan. In this video, I'll just try to explain about some of the misunderstandings people have. Okay, so first I'll talk with say Mahabharat. People always complain, that Dronacharya did wrong thing to Ekalavya by cutting his finger and other things, right? So I'll tell you the full portion of the story. Ekalavya was a strong hater of Krishna. Okay, first point. And he was a very, very close friend of Jarasandha. He always had some sort of a very wrong environment around him. Okay, two. And he always had some sort of a vengeance in his mind. Okay, three. And fourth point, which many people don't, realize or has not been explained. After Dronacharya asked for his thumb, Dronacharya took Eklavya separately to a mountain. I think it's Mandara Mountains, I believe. Mandara or Mahendra. So I'm not able to recollect. So in that mountain, he gave him a complete training of all the astras and other things on a one-to-one basis. That privilege only Ekalavya had. So, if you remember right, Pandavas and Kauravas were together, and he used to teach them in a common, say, time or something like that. But for Ekalavya, it was a special treatment given to him, and it was a one is to one training given to Ekalavya. Then, why did Drona ask for a thumb? There are two reasons actually. One basically is the few reasons which I mentioned in the beginning. Friend of Jarasandha, he was hater of Krishna and other things. And second point, he also wanted to show to the world the attitude of the Arjuna. Okay, so which basically tells that at some point of time anybody can become jealous of somebody. Okay, at the end of the day, even he was a human being. So that's one thing which I wanted to convey. Okay, so summarizing it, Dronacharya gave a very special treatment to Ekalavya and taught him all the astras by taking him to Mandara mountains. Second point, off late, okay, maybe after the Britishers came, when I say off late, what happened, right? People always used to say, okay, this guy is from this caste, I should not drink this and other things. I'll give two examples. Both examples are identical. How humanism or bhakti is important. Okay, let me take the case of Uttanaka Rishi. Okay, Uttanaka Rishi was a great devotee of Vishnu, and he was actually meditating in desert. That's around that Rajasthan desert. And Krishna wanted to give him an Amrita. But Indra told Krishna, say, I wanted to test him before we can give Amrita. Krishna said, you go ahead. Then Indra came in the form of a Chandala, okay, and tried to give Amrita to Uttanaka Rishi by saying that this is a glass of water, you will be thirsty in this desert, drink this water. Actually, it was an Amrita. Uttanaka Rishi said, oh, you are a Chandala, you cannot give, I cannot touch you. And he was using all, was actually scolding that Chandala. Okay, Chandala means you can assume that the lowest caste. Okay, Indra was patiently listening, and finally Utanaka said, "I don't need you. I am going to pray to Vishnu. I get whatever he gives it to me." Okay. So you assume that after he told all these things, Indra, who was in the disguise of Chandala, went back. Then after some time, again when Utanaka Rishi was actually meditating, Krishna came. So Utanaka Rishi then asked him, "So I was very thirsty and I was thinking about you. Why you are not able to give me water?" So for that, Krishna replied, "See, whoever came to you to give you water was actually Amrita, and the person in the Chandala form was Indra. It was you who rejected him, okay, saying that you are a Chandala and I should not drink this, and right? So he went away. Now you will not be able to get the Amrit. But what I can give you a boon is that you will not feel thirsty henceforth. And whenever it rains in the desert, it will be called as Uttanaka rain, or you can say, um, I don't know how you could say, you can say Uttanaka clouds also. So that's what they say. This one case, okay? Now, a person who was deeply meditating with Vishnu could not identify the person who has come in the form of a Chandala, and he got to the, and he was not given the Amrita. Okay, he was a very strong devotee of Vishnu. I'll tell you, Uttanaka Rishi. Now, I'll come to the other case. There was a once Brahma and Indra were discussing something, and Brahma politely asked Vishnu, "Who is your strong, favorite devotee at this point of time?" Okay, so he said Rantideva. You should understand Rantideva, Prahlada, and Dhruva, they were on different timelines. Okay, and you cannot compare the bhaktis. Bhaktis you can never compare. So Vishnu said Rantideva is one of my favorite devotee. Okay, so then Brahma and Indra, Yama, they were all discussing. Okay, how to test him? Actually, is he so worth that Vishnu is mentioning it? So initially, Rantideva was meditating on Vishnu for a very long time. Then, after fasting for a few days, he wanted to take some fruits and eat. Okay, so first Indra came. Indra asked half of the fruits that he had to him, so he gave it to him. Then, in next came, I think, Agni Deva. Then Agni Deva came. He also said they came in different forms. Okay, one came in the form of a Brahmin, another came in the form of a Kshatriya, and third one guy was in the form, I think Agni was in the form, case of a farmer, I believe. So what happened is that then Agni Deva came in the form of a farmer. So he told him he is very angry, and he took the remaining half of the fruits. Then Rantideva was only left with water. And third case, another person, and I think it is Yama. Okay, I think it's Yama only, who came and also took away his water and other things. Okay, he came in a different form, and he actually asked for water because he's thirsty, and he took the water away from him. Now Rantideva was left with nothing, and he was feeling hungry and tired. Okay, then Yama again comes in the form of a Chandala. When he came in the form of a Chandala and gave water to him to drink. Okay, Rantideva immediately took the water and drank that water. Yama, who was in the disguise of a Chandala, told Rantideva, "See, I am a Chandala. Why you are drinking water that I have given to you? People don't touch it." For that, Rantideva replies, "It's not that you are belong to where or which caste. You gave water to me out of affection, and that affection is far more sufficient than any other things." So he drinks the water given by the Yama, who was in the form of a Chandala. Okay, and all the devas then appreciate this. Okay, See the difference, right? Uttanaka did something more different. He was a very, very, very learned rishi, okay? And you have Rantideva who, you know, took the water given by Chandala. So, friends, if somebody tries to give you out of affection, out of love, okay, out of, you can say, sympathy or something, and they wanted to share something with you, don't neglect that, okay? Because we don't know in what form God comes. Okay. But again, as I said, it's all whoever gives to you in the purest heart, from pure heart, right? They give out of your pure innocence and thinking about your well wishing, right? Then don't feel hesitate, don't discriminate. Okay. It's a classic example. Unfortunately, what has happened is people don't understand all these things, okay. Our mindset are have been fixed with the britishers, whatever the britishers set it, okay. So actually if you take around 300 years back, there was no such discrimination that was happening during the british time. So essentially it's a britishers who basically influenced our thinking based on our religious texts, okay. So don't get uh, you know don't discriminate. If somebody gives you with a lot of affection and love, please consider it, okay. That doesn't mean that you should eat non-veg or you should drink beer and other things, okay. So I'm just telling it in a pure case of love, okay. So now the other myth which I wanted to tell, or what I can say, belief, okay, which partly is correct, partly is wrong. People think that when they go and do snanam to in Ganga, all their sins will be removed. What they don't understand is there is a conditions apply. Okay, the sins that will be removed are those sins where you are forced to do something which is not acceptable to you by someone else, or you are you did something wrong, you feel that what you have done is wrong and you want to, it's like you understood your mistake and want to rectify it. So that is second case. And third is basically, without your knowledge you might have hurt somebody, you might have caused problems to someone else which you might not be aware of based on your actions. So those kind of sins, it will get removed, but not like I do a murder, okay, then go and do snanam in Ganga. It will not go. It will be there. So if everybody go does that, right, then all the people should go to heaven, not to other lokas, right? Yamaloka. So or Narakaloka. Yamaloka, Narakaloka are different. So it's not that correct, okay. It's basically, what I can say is, all the unknown things are which you have committed, those sins will be removed, not the one you have done intentionally, okay. So this is the second myth which I wanted to, or misunderstanding which I wanted to remove, okay. Now it's another important point why how what I wanted to tell is, see, we have India time. Okay, I'll put this way. People always think that there is only heaven and all the people reside there. Okay, Yama, Chandra, Surya, and other things. Okay, but that is not true. Okay, so they are also living beings. They are going to die at some point of time. Only thing is they don't have this aging problem because they have they have drunk amrita. Okay, they also have a lifespan, and each say like Yama or Chandra, right? They have their own locus, and each have a different time difference. For example, sunrise and sunset. How we have sunrise at say 6:45 and in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening, right? And it is say 5.5 hours ahead of say Great Britain time. Okay, same thing. They have the difference also. So I think from Indraloka to Chandraloka, it's 3 hours difference. They also have sunrise and sunset. Okay, that's the reason we always say Dhanurmasa, right? Dhanurmasa is basically their early morning time. Okay, it's exactly the same. So what happens is they have their own time zone. uh, as I said, Indra Loka is I think ahead of say Yamaloka, and Chandra Loka is 3 hours ahead of Indra Loka. So it goes on, and each one has their own capital and their own set of people living there. You can call that as extraterrestrial life, whatever the current scientific astrophysics guys mentions that, right? You can call them like that, because they are also living beings. Okay, they have the day, they have the night, and they also have a lifespan. After that lifespan, they have to die. Okay, so just wanted to mention that how we have these time zones, they also have time zones. They have a different what I can say, different duration of sunrise and sunset. Okay, so it's like as I said, Chandraloka is I think 3 hours ahead of Indraloka, and I think Vayuloka is something again 2 hours ahead of Chandraloka. Okay, so each loka has its own capital and they have their own set of people, and this is clearly mentioned in Vayu Purana. Okay, this is clearly mentioned in Vayu Purana, and unfortunate is none of the purohits or priests who are does this pravachana does not read all these things. Okay, so they come and tell the same old story of Bhagavata and already known stories. They don't try to do a detailed analysis of all these Puranas. It's very clearly mentioned how the things are going to be there also. Okay, so again, if I go further deep, right, uh, like how Guru is recording this video, there will be another guru somewhere in some part of the universe who will be also recording this video. Same thing. Okay, so it goes much deeper, and it is very interesting also, and I have to take some sort of a separate session for that. Okay, so that's one thing which I wanted to understand. And third third is basically I want to talk about a little bit on astrology. So astrology, nowadays you can see a lot of astrologers doing some sort of uh, prediction on X, Y, Z, and other things, right? So the one part of astrology where you refer to horoscope and other things, right? That is classified into three categories. One is Parashara Rishi, who is the father of Veda Vyasa, who was given this the astrology. Then the second is basically Jaimini, who is the Shishya of Vedavyasa, who was given that astrology. And third is one given by Shiva to Ravana. Ravana was an excellent astrologer. Okay, so again, if you ask me why he did all these things, I that's a very lengthy story. So I'm just sticking to this. So you have three sets of astrology based on looking into the horoscope. Again, further in astrology, you can have some sort of a nadi astrology, palmistry astrology, etc. So one based on horoscope, you have three categories. And interestingly, in that what are the astrology taught to Ravana by Shiva, right? He mentions various mantras. Okay, um, which I'll give an example. In some cases, Shiva says, if you do this mantra, you'll get attracted, or you can basically attract women. But remember that Ravana never used it against Sita. Okay, that's one point. The reason is Shiva also says you can do this under extreme conditions where there is some sort of a what I can say, uh, blockage due to some other reasons. In those cases only you have to use those kind of mantras. Okay, so that's why Ravana was very clear and he never used it also. Okay, so it's very interesting that whatever the Shiva told to Ravana, they call it as Uddisha Tantra. Okay, it is very 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 interesting. It talks about your horoscope with your body identification and other things. Okay, so what is mentioned as bad, that can be good also. What is being mentioned as bad in horoscope placement of a planet, that can be good also. That is clearly mentioned by Shiva to Ravana. And second is Jaimini, that is very very complex, and he Jaimini deliberately did it so that it is not getting misused. And third is Parashara, which is commonly used. So I think it's almost 20 minutes. I just felt that it's been a long time, so I just wanted to cover few points, uh, and just share my knowledge with you. If you have any questions, just write in the comment box. I'll have a look. Thank you. Namaskaram.